There are moments in Monster Hunter that happen and they just stay with you. They leave you a little bit speechless, your mouth hangs open, and you just have the time of your life. And that underwater with Lagiacrus pop-up, diving in, seeing him in his element, being there once again after so many years. Oh, bravo, Capcom, bravo, title update 2. I only have one more thing to say.
You lot have weapons! Use weapons!
Hello, my fellow hunters! Welcome then to Title Update 2. It is here, it is happening, and it is just brilliant! Oh my god! So, let's talk Lagiacrus, the star of the show, the headline monster. Sorry, seregios, I still love you, like, genuinely, I think you're so cool, we'll get to you, but we have been awaiting the return of this crocodile thunder prince for so many years. We're about to get hit in the nostalgia, my fellow players, and it's hitting so right. So without further ado then, how do we actually get to him and what's happening with this hunt? Have they done him justice? You want to head to the Scarlet Forest where Eric will want to talk to you, and he's dealing with a little issue twixt man, twixt woodward, and twixt wyvern. I'm not going to go over too in depth from this point onwards. You just have the conversation, you follow Eric through the woods, and then you get the greatest introduction cutscene of all time, paying homage to Monster Hunter Tri and the initial scuffle between Rathalos and Lagiacrus, and this time things are a little bit different. It's enough to make a grown man cry. Oh, and I guess we do actually get, you know, Eric saying,
Lagiacrus!
But, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. It's weird that even in-game, the researcher of monsters doesn't say Lagiacrus correctly. It's crazy, that is. Just say it how you want, guys. No one, it doesn't matter. In any case, then, we get on to the actual hunt, and you have to specifically capture him. That's because we're good hunters, and we don't kill without good reason. Oh, and before we get into his, well, quality, I do want to say, look forward to the Pro and Noob. It is a special one. It was so fun to do. Though, sadly, it's looking like it's going to be Tuesday with how late Title Update 2 released. For me, it's proving a little bit too much of a push. We are, after all, only human. Please, forgive us, guys. Earlier, I asked then, have they done him justice? And I think the answer is unequivocally yes. This, for a non-kind of Elder Dragon-y fight, is kind of, I mean, it's a hot take, but I do almost want to say masterpiece level. Like, the fact we've gotten this level of pseudo-underwater combat light that I think has actually turned out to be even more underwater combat-y than it even looked in the reveals is just wonderful. You've got proper controls, proper 3D space, proper dodging and positioning with him. It's not kind of a super on-rails gimmick. It's limited, but within the limited space, it's very free, if that makes sense. Timing your clutch claws to get damage in, timing the boulder drop, your slinger shots, actually having to do enough damage to him underwater to prevent just the coolest super attack that I won't spoil here. Oh, we'll go over that in detail in his, well, in details look that will be coming along shortly. But wow, honestly, I'd recommend you deliberately don't do enough damage to him underwater the first time you hunt him. In any case, it just feels good. It's not clunky, it doesn't go on too long. They've just nailed it in a way that feels like a heartfelt tribute to Lagiacrus' origins and the struggle he's had to return as one of the most popular monsters and beloved flagships just ever, and I could not be happier. And that's the thing, it's just happy. Like, going through this hunt and seeing it, sharing that with Codden for the first time, oh my days. And the thing is, even ignoring the underwater, which is of course the thing to talk about here, it's just still surreal to me that that's even happened. They've pulled it off in a way that really is meaningfully good. The rest of the actual normal hunt, yeah, impeccable. He's got a really solid on-land moveset. It's nothing crazy, but it's got some bite to it, just like he does. I'll be honest, I really kind of initially was up against him like, it's not even like an 8-star tempered, it's Lagiacrus, I've hunted 1,000 of them, and I was promptly reminded that I was unfamiliar with his wilds game. He did catch me out with a few little combos, and I took an uncomfortable amount of damage. It's really nice to see. Him charging up into his charged and now ultra-charged states feels threatening, and visually, everything about him is a treat for the eyes. His new model is looking great, the lightning effects are looking great, his animations are looking great, chasing him through the Scarlet Forest as he swims between the ruins like of Duna and Mizutsune just feels so right. And not to mention, his underwater arena looks beautiful, and his new actual nest, new area on the Scarlet Forest is perfect and beautiful. It's like a half-watery little stadium surrounded by water that he uses to do new cool in and out of the water attacks. And look, they have solved Lagiacrus, air quotes, needing underwater in the most perfect way. And essentially, yeah, they have absolutely knocked it out the park when it comes to reviving Lagiacrus in such a good way, on top of his actual introduction with Rathalos and everything like that. I am absolutely chuffed, and I hope you guys are having that too. But of course, it's not just about the hunt, though we will, as I say, go over everything to do with Lagiacrus very soon for you guys. There's a lot to him. It's about the equipment. Deep breath, let's dive in. Because water, and have a look-see. So I will start then with the weapons. Using High Legia Blade, the Greatsword, as the example here, things are actually kind of... yeah? Now, I am going to be saying the sentence you probably don't want to hear, which is, it's not quite as good as Artian, and that inherently comes down to, in most cases, you'd probably rather have the 5% base affinity and the extra 5 raw over 550 thunder. But it's not like it's a million miles away, and when you look down at convert thunder resistance, ooh, things might change. And look, this is again from a greatsword perspective. For the weapons that do actually quite like elements, though as it currently stands, even dual blades and bow are using a more raw leaning setup, as element is just a bonus on top. But let's imagine a world where we have a decently thunder weak monster. Yeah, this actually has some potential, but I'm getting ahead of myself. 220 raw then, and a load of white sharpness. This is fairly nice as a kind of just base here. It gives us a base EFR of 291, which is on the higher end of your monster weapons. The slots then are your classic 3-2-1, but focus is the standard skill on it, so you put a level 1 focus in the level 1 slot, you've got your 3 focus, then you're not that far off an Artian in terms of skill economy, though still slightly less because you've got a 2 instead of a 3, so all in all, basically, it's not quite as good as Artian, to reiterate, if you are wanting to use it for the actual stats, but again, laid weapons means that kind of doesn't matter anymore. So let's have a look at convert thunder resistance. Increase your weapon's elemental attack proportional to your thunder resistance. Now this is really exciting, not necessarily because of itself on laggy weapons, but because we know in a future update we're going to get RNG talismans that they implied could get weapon skills on them. So in theory, you might be able to get this and then boost any given weapon's element via stacking thunder resist, which is quite neat. Now obviously a lot of this comes down to the ratio of element to thunder resist, and don't worry, I will be with you very soon thoroughly testing everything unique Lagia brings, i.e. convert thunder resistance and his set bonus, but for now, there is certainly, potential elementally speaking here. It's not exactly groundbreaking, and from a pure greatsword perspective, you're going to use Artian, but it is a really interesting, unique skill for Lagiacrus, and one that thematically really works, and I hope the results actually give it some oomph. But by and large, I'm certainly not disappointed immediately when looking at this, and that's really nice. If we go to the bow then, apart from just looking bloody gorgeous, oh my god! That 250 thunder is a really tasty amount of thunder, and then you run into kind of the issue with the greatsword where 220 raw is just simply not as good as 230 raw with 5% affinity that you get on the bow. Tetrad's shot is fine, it's a skill that you get as a combo decoration for free as it's your best option, but you're then down with your usual 3-2-1 and you're going to have slightly less slot efficiency. However, on Bow's case, if Convert Thunder Resistance can make it go absolutely nutty, for specifically Thunder Week, it might actually work out quite well, and we do have close range coating, which is good because that's kind of what you want. And as we sit here on Jewel Blades, basically your Lagiacrus weapons from a quick initial look, literally it's only been out hours, is if you are an elementally inclined weapon, if Convert Thunder Resistance actually has some decent conversion without needing to stack Thunder Resistance, if say the passive amount that I happen to have in my set is enough to give an extra 100-200 element, and you're facing something severely weak to Thunder, well then we might be in business. But as a new kind of meta for the raw dominance that we're seeing with Artian, not so much. But the armor then. You'll find it under Zoshir and above your Gamma Ray Dao, and it's quite frankly amazing, or at least a couple pieces are. So first and foremost, it's beautiful, that classic Knight of the Sea Lagiacrus look. Both the male and female set are incredibly solid, some lovely fashion to be added. But as you are probably already seeing with maybe a sort of your eyes popping out your head kind of reaction, all 5 ranks of weakness exploit, 3 maximum might, which is of course both ultra meta across many of the weapons, and then a nice little bit of latent power, thunder resistance to power the weapon's unique skill, and this then is kind of exciting depending on where it's distributed. So we're not going to be using alpha sets, or at least sometimes you do, to be fair, and there is some solid pieces here. But to go to our beta then, we have the following. But that of course is the alpha. Surely the beta, when we get our extra slots, we're going to drop some of these key skills. Well, we keep all the stamina surge, maximum might, and weakness exploit, which is exactly what you want to be keeping from this set. So, the helmet, 2 maximum might, a 3 slot, a 2 slot, and a 1 slot. Yeah, that is decent. That's essentially all 3 maximum might by itself with a 3 slot to boot. Now, of course, armor pieces are quite competitive, especially in the world of the Gore set being as dominant as it is, now competing with 3-piece Arch-Tempered Ray Dao. But if we compare it then to your Gamma Ray Dao helmet, where you get 2 3 slots worth of skills, a Wex and then a free slot, and then the 1 maximum might, well, it starts to actually look pretty damn good. It's not as good in terms of 3 slots, which might well be your priority and of course are more valuable than 2, but you're not going to complain at getting all 3 maximum might and then a 3 slot to use on top of that in 1 piece of armor. Then we go to the chest, where again we get another weakness exploit, stamina surge is nice on a lot of weapons, and then another double 2 slot and a 1 slot. So for a lot of weapons that use things like 3 maximum might, 3 counter strike, you do need a lot of 2 slots to actually come into play, so this starts to look again quite appealing. And all of this then leads into how useful is Leviathan's Fury, the Azure Bolt 1 and 2 set bonus, and we'll get into that. Then we've got the gloves, which are essentially 2 Wex, or a Wex and a 3 slot, and the 2 Stam Surge is quite nice too. Honestly, the Stam Surge with the weakness exploit, these two are quite exciting for potentially bow. Basically, what I'm saying is, unlike perhaps Mizutsune, where it was pretty much just the legs with bursts for specifically kind of dual blades, a lot of these pieces, without doing, you know, extensive build craft, theory craft, because again, it's just come out, have potential, and that's really exciting. Even the waist, again, a Wex at maximum might, enough slots to finish maximum might, and then another 1 slot left over. It's essentially the helmet again, if you spend the free slot in the same way. The legs being 2 Wex and a 1 slot isn't as crazy, but still getting 2 3 slots worth of skills, 3 if you count latent power, and latent power isn't useless, as Radau Gamma firmly proved, it's still got potential. So all in all, this is a really exciting set of armor, both in terms of its slottage and its raw skills, and that's borne out with it being a rarity 7, unlike Mizutsune's rarity 6. But all of this kind of doesn't matter if Leviathan's Fury is just absolutely cracked, because then we'll be using anyway for that. So Leviathan's Fury then is interesting. It temporarily increases affinity and can deal extra thunder damage upon build-up. Now, this kind of has a question of build-up of what, initially? And that is a fair question, I think, but I'm going to assume that when you have the set bonus on, you will have a random chance of dealing some extra thunder damage, a la Rathalos's chance to deal extra fire damage, which would be thematic, as they've set these two up as rivals, rightfully. So Rathalos armor, you've got a chance of dealing a bit of extra fire damage, Lagiacrus armor, you've got a chance of dealing a little bit of extra thunder damage, and then also, you get some increased affinity too. So if that's how it works, there is certainly potential here, depending on, you know, the numbers. It's all down to the numbers. But mechanically speaking, if this is chance on hit to gain affinity and deal a pop of thunder damage, that has massive amounts of potential and is in the realm of useless if the numbers are too low to this is the new meta if the numbers are high enough. So again, I will be thoroughly testing this for you guys very, very soon. Literally the next thing I'm going to do, and watch this space. But again, potential is certainly here and it is exciting. I was kind of a little bit apprehensive about his armor set. I didn't want it immediately to be like, I guess it's just fashion, it's layered, okay, we're not going to really changing much. But no, there is room for exploration. Whether we actually end up changing, that's up in the air, but I think it is got a decent chance at a minimum. But again, testing, numbers, I'll get back to you. This is very, very exciting nonetheless, and I'm really happy to see that they've given it some proper juice. Alright then, that is Lagiacrus, at least so far, having just come out with what we've seen and what we know, and I'll be honest, I'm so impressed, I'm so happy. It's just a slam dunk of an encounter, in my opinion. You can't go absolutely insane, because it's not like it's an Elder Dragon, but for such a long-awaited, loved monster, I mean, yeah, he feels like he is a long-awaited, loved monster. For now then, let me know what you are thinking, how you're getting on, and like if you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.